So when it comes to Joe Burrow, like I said, special quarterback, very talented, but a quarterback's success is always dependent upon the organization and the team that is put around him. So we have to talk about Zach Taylor. The question is Zach Taylor, the Cincinnati Bengals current head coach, already on the hot seat? Heading into the 2021 season, is Zach Taylor already on the hot seat? Now, this is a very complicated question because here's the thing. When I saw Zach Taylor was being hired by the Cincinnati Bengals a couple of years ago, I had no idea who the guy was. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. All I knew was he was a former college quarterback, and he learned under Sean McVay in 2017 when he was on Sean McVay's offensive staff. So I said, yeah, maybe this guy knows a little bit about offense, but I don't know much about this guy. However, last year in 2020, around December, when the Cowboys absolutely destroyed the Cincinnati Bengals, and that was without Joe Burrow, by the way. Joe Burrow was hurt at the time. I said, yep, it's time to fire Zach Taylor. It's time to rip the Band-Aid off. Because I said, listen, I understand that there's a lack of talent on this roster, but Ron Rivera, he inherited a pretty bad roster. He's winning games. You look at Brian Flores. People felt the Miami Dolphins had one of the worst rosters of recent memory a couple of years ago when Brian Flores took over. And Brian Flores didn't make excuses. He won games. You look at Joe Judge. I don't think the New York Giants were a very talented team last year. Joe Judge won 6 games. That's impressive considering the roster that he was dealt with in his first year in a COVID season. So, listen, I'm a guy that wants results. And I just didn't think Zach Taylor was producing enough results. And I thought to myself, what is Zach Taylor really good at? Because I don't think Zach Taylor is this offensive guru. I don't think he's a great defensive-minded head coach. I don't think he excels at anything. When you look at Andy Reid, he's a special offensive mind. Bill Belichick, a defensive-minded head coach, one of the best defensive-minded head coaches of all time. And listen, I just felt that I don't know if Zach Taylor's ceiling is all that high. And listen, if you're Cincinnati, eventually, if you want to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to beat and out-coach Andy Reid, Belichick, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, Sean McDermott, even Frank Wright. Frank Wright might be the 6th or 7th best coach in the AFC, and he's darn good. And we're not even talking about guys in the NFC like Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. So, I just didn't really feel Zach Taylor last year. But after a while, they started to actually win a couple of games without Joe Burrow when Joe Burrow was hurt. I've always said, the testament to a great coach is when you can win games without a star quarterback. And the Cincinnati Bengals, they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in a game without Joe Burrow, which is very impressive because I don't even know who the Bengals quarterback was at the time. I'm sorry for not doing the research, but I think most casual NFL fans didn't know who that guy was, and they even went on the road and beat Houston. I know Houston was a bad team last year, but Deshaun Watson's a real player. I felt it was an impressive win on the road. So Zach Taylor, to me, as a head coach last year, got better as the year went on and even won despite Joe Burrow not playing some games. And we can talk about if Zach Taylor is the future or not. Here's the common denominator. The players have backed him up from day one. Joe Burrow has said multiple times he believes in the guy. Several other Cincinnati Bengals fans have endorsed Zach Taylor. And you can kind of tell when you can kind of tell when players are throwing coaches under the bus. You can tell when players are like, yeah, this guy's not very good. They kind of will give you a little sense. I don't have that sense with Joe Burrow. I truly believe that Joe Burrow and a lot of Cincinnati Bengals players believe in Zach Taylor. Okay? Now, to answer the real question, is he on the hot seat? I don't think so, because I think Cincinnati actually is really going to give him a fair shot to prove to them that he can be the coach of the future. Because Cincinnati, I think they're thinking to themselves, if we fire this guy Zach Taylor prematurely, then what message does that send to the rest of the coaching circle world? Because if you fire a coach after only 1 or 2 seasons, then that sends a message that you're a little bit impatient. And what coach is going to work with an organization that's not willing to be patient? the minute I start losing, this team is going to fire me. I think that coaches want to have stability, and they want to be given time to establish their culture and draft and bring in their guys. So I think Zach Taylor, as long as he doesn't completely stink up the joint this year, if he wins 5 or 6 games this year, I think his job is safe. I think that the Bengals are going to determine how good Zach Taylor is in 2022, because that'll be Joe Burrow's 3rd season. And that will actually be Zach Taylor's 4th season as the head coach in Cincinnati. And by year 3 and year 4, that's the period where we need to start seeing some results, okay? So next year, if the Bengals aren't a borderline playoff team, I think you have to fire Zach Taylor, because there is some talent on this roster. Joe Burrow's not an awful quarterback, okay? There are some coaches that would kill to have Joe Burrow as their quarterback, okay? So when it comes to Zach Taylor, there's just still a lot of unknowns. You know, we don't know what he is. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, he's got to make me a believer. Right now, I'm just strictly in wait-and-see mode with Zach Taylor. I think the Bengals are as well, and we'll see how this plays out in Cincinnati. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.